certain doubts that you have regarding the accumulations of merit. There are 8 places when rebirth takes place. Those living beings are not capable enough or not fortunate enough to accumulate merit. There are 8 places. So I am going to explain these 8 places where rebirth takes place according to their own karma. Tayo apaya, 3 woeful states or unfortunate state of existence as hell, animal kingdom and ghost world, ghost and spirits. When rebirth takes place in any of these 3 places, there is no chance for those living beings to even to think about meritorious deeds or religion, because their life is miserable, suffering physically and mentally, and no peace. So, utter wastage. Because of their own bad deeds or bad karma, rebirth has taken place in such unfortunate state. And that their destiny also very uncertain. Destiny means, from the Buddhist point of view, suffering in hell or animal kingdoms or ghost world is not eternal. There is a time limit. So after that period, and very difficult to understand where rebirth takes place again. I think you have heard, although rebirth takes place in certain unfortunate states, still they have in their storehouse of consciousness certain good and bad karma, dormant, inactive, no chance to affect. And some of those karmas again condition or produce the next life. But during that period, they have no chance to accumulate fresh merit. Those 3 regarded as one unfortunate state. Then the second one is arupa loka, rupa loka, arupa loka, in Brahma realm or Brahma world. Life exists without the formations of any physical body. Rupa means no rupa, no formation. Rupa is a Pali word, is very meaningful. The definitions of this word, rupa, matter, also we introduce as rupa. Rupang, rupana lakkana. The nature of rupa is such that can be affected by wind, heat, rain, and various other forces. Hunger, thirst, that object is called rupa. Changes take place, decay take place because of these forces. So all these living beings, plants, and any object that which exists, all are belong to this rupa. So here in this particular Brahma world, there is no rupa, but life is there. These are the things that we cannot understand simply by using our normal way of thinking. Our worldly knowledge cannot give the answer. Those who develop their meditation through jhana or samatha go on developing and developing and developing by analyzing this physical body and loathsomeness, futility, impermanency, uselessness, by considering the ill of physical body, pain, disturbances, burdens, troubles, then what will happen? Through this meditation, they completely detach their craving for physical body. That means they don't like physical body anymore. What will happen? If they have developed their mind through the jhanic power, after they are dead, rebirth takes place in one of those formless Brahma realms. There are four Brahma realms, where living beings exist without the physical body, but life is there. So if rebirth takes place in one of those four Brahma realms, there is no chance for those living beings to accumulate karma anymore during their stay in that particular realm. There they can spend thousands or millions of years. And the belief in India at that time was that that is the final goal, that is moksha, that is nirvana. The Buddha is the teacher who pointed out this is not the final goal. Still, there are certain mental defilements, mental impurities in their mind. Therefore, there is no final goal. So, after that again, rebirth takes place. But they have no chance to accumulate fresh karma. Then the next one is, when the life exists in certain other planes or other planets, those days people could not understand that there are some living beings in other planets, in different forms, not like human beings. When rebirth takes place in one of those planets, there also those living beings have no chance to perform any meritorious deed. Also wasted. Even modern astronomers and scientists also agree, although they have not seen yet, that there are some living beings in certain planets. Then the next one is Pancindriyanam Vekalyam, 5 senses. Now as human beings, when all the senses are out of order, cannot see, cannot hear, cannot smell anything, cannot taste, and no sensation or feeling. All the senses are out of order. And those unfortunate human beings also experience the difficulty of performing meritorious deeds, because rebirth has taken place according to their own karma. So no chance of accumulating merit. Next one, Micchaditthica Daruna. Micchaditthi. I think you can understand the meaning of this word. Miccha means wrong. Ditthi means belief. Those who maintain wrong belief, wrong concepts, they do not consider good and bad deeds seriously, morals and immoral, good and bad karma, and meaning of life. To them there is no meaning at all. I have explained that there are 10 kinds of wrong concepts or wrong beliefs that many people uphold. They maintain some of them, if not all. If they hold such views, it is impossible for them to perform meritorious deeds. Can you mention some of those names that I have explained earlier? There are 10 altogether. Natti Vinnam, Natti Yittang, Natti Utang, Natti Sukata Dukkatang Kammanang Phalang Vipāko, Natti Ayang Loko, Natti Paraloko, Natti Mata, Natti Pita, Natti Loke, Satta Opapatika, Natti Loke Samana Brahmana Gata Patipanna. 10. Wrong belief. In brief, so I have explained some time ago I can repeat. Just now Mr. Boone mentioned about dharma. Here, first three items talk about dharma. Offering, or giving, or contributing, or donating something for the benefit of others. Many people never appreciate, never practice, never encourage, but they condemn. That is a wrong belief. They ask, why should we give? What for? Let them work and find out their own living. We are not responsible for them. The same thing, some people organize in a grand scale, like offering big dana, inviting many people. Recently you have entertained old folks and children from orphanages and various other places, or invite the monks or beggars, you offer. And these people say, why should we feed them? Why should we contribute? It is not our duty. And some others approach them, visit, like old folks' homes, orphanages, hospitals, and certain other places, and distribute. Then the critics say, why should we contribute? Why should we donate to them? All these three beliefs are wrong beliefs, and such people cannot perform meritoriously because of their wrong views. Natti sukata dukkatam kammanam phalang vipāko. This is more dangerous. Those who believe that there are no good effects for good deeds, no bad effects for bad deeds, no good karma or bad karma. We can do anything whatever we like for our living, for our enjoyment. Don't worry about moral or religious way of life or karma. They also cannot perform meritorious deeds. Natti ayang loko, natti paraloko. Hereafter or after our death, there is no another world for our life to exist. That means no more rebirth. This is the only life. And also we never had previous existence. This is the only life. Therefore, we must enjoy as much as possible without wasting our life. This is the only life. That means they can do anything. To them, there is no difference between cruelty and kindness, honesty and cunningness. There is no difference. They can do anything, whatever they like, because of such belief. Natti mata, natti pita, father and mother. Religion and our tradition or our way of life teach us to look after, to attend to our father and mother without allowing them to suffer. Minister them, support them. This is one of the humane qualities. But others say, why should we support them? We are not responsible for them. Why should we respect them? They are also ordinary human beings. So there is no reason for us to discriminate. This person is my father, this person is my mother, and others are not belong to me. All are equal. There is no difference. So this belief is spreading all over the world. When father and mother grow old, young children, married children, young boys and girls don't like to stay with their father and mother. To them, their existence is real nuisance. So they send them to old folks' home, at least something without killing them, destroying them. Now when you study Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism and all the other existing religions in this world, every religion teaches you must look after, you must attend to your father and mother as your duty. The Buddha emphasized this very strongly, advising young people to attend to their father and mother. In Christianity also, in Islam, when Prophet Muhammad was asked, where is the heaven? By his daughter, Muhammad said, heaven is at the feet of your father and mother. That means those who respect, those who look after their father and mother can go to heaven. And Hinduism also very strongly advised people to attend to their father and mother. That ethics and morals And Chinese philosopher Confucius emphasized this very strongly as filial piety, how to respect the father and mothers and elders. Then, Natti loke samana brahmana samaktata patipanna. There are no such people in this world as religious people who lead a holy life or religious life, who can understand the nature of life, the nature of this world, the nature of the next world, next existence. There are no such people. So why should we respect some people as holy people or religious people? Those who hold such belief also have no chance to lead a religious life because of their wrong concept. And the last item is a little bit controversial, and we experience the difficulty of understanding. Those who deny the existence of a spontaneous living being, that means living beings come into existence without father or mother. Suddenly they appear, they exist, again they disappear. This is called spontaneous. Living beings, they remain for a long period and again disappear. Since we cannot understand how they appear, how they exist, we don't believe. So better to keep this item in the waiting list until we realize. But don't deny, don't say it is rubbish or we cannot believe. Yes, we cannot believe because we cannot understand. These are the 10 kind of wrong beliefs. If we maintain some of those wrong beliefs, we have no chance to lead the pure religious life. We have no chance to accumulate merit. I think you know the meaning of merit. Merit, we always talk about merit. Especially Buddhism and Hinduism, these two religions talk about merit. Karma. Why karma is needed? Why do we need karma? To attain nirvana, our final goal. Karma cannot do anything. Remember this. We can go on accumulating more and more karma, good karma. But these good karma cannot take us to nirvana, but can take us to heaven. But heaven is not the final goal. If you want to enjoy worldly life for a certain period or long period, yes, these karmas are very useful for us. That is why people are crazy for karma, meritorious deeds. They believe they can gain everything what they want very easily, even without working for it. There are food and clothing and houses and requisites and enjoyment, long life, good health, through the influence of merit. It is true. It is true. But that is not the ultimate aim, the purpose of our life. The merit we accumulate or spend. If we do not accumulate again, what will happen to us? Nobody knows. This is the uncertain. That means again and again, life after life, we had to accumulate merit. Since there is no end, since life is uncertain, mind is uncertain, there is no aim. Therefore, we should not depend on karma for us to find out our final salvation or liberation. That is what the Buddha has said. When he was practicing meditation, austerity, even without taking food, Mara suddenly appeared and advised him, why do you want to suffer? You are a prince, you are a young man, you have kingdom. Why not you go back? Enjoy your life. You can rule the country. At the same time, you also can accrue a lot of merit. Mara said. Then the Buddha is not the Buddha, Buddha to be, not yet attain Buddha. He says, Anumattena pi punyena attho maihang navidyati. Punya, merit. He said, even a little bit of merit, also not very important to me. I am not working to gain merit. I cannot gain my enlightenment through the influence of merit. I cannot experience nibbanic bliss through the influence of merit. Merit can produce worldly pleasure, worldly need, worldly satisfaction, means to an end. Remember, that is what the Buddha says. Anumattena pi punyena, even a little bit of merit. Attho maihang navidyati, no use of it. I am working for the enlightenment. Then what is the important aspect for that? Not the merit. Mental development, knowledge, mental purity. Now these are the requisites, important requisites for a person to gain enlightenment, to attain or to experience nibbanic bliss. Purity, development and knowledge. Without maintaining purity, development and knowledge, we can accumulate a lot of merit. You understand? We can perform all sorts of meritorious deeds. We gain merit, we create good karma, we experience worldly pleasure, but we never gain the aim, the purpose, the final goal of the liberation through this merit. So, meritorious deeds are important for our expenses. Since the mental impurities or the passions, if not kilesa, are very strong in our mind, deeply rooted, we experience the difficulty of uprooting them, eradicating them. You can understand them. Very easily you can understand it. One who is jealous, he knows this is wrong, but cannot get rid of this. It is so strong in the mind. Because of this jealousy, this person creates enormous bad karma. Another person is very hot-tempered. One word is enough to irritate and disturb, provoke him, and he behaves like a devil at that time because of his anger. He knows it is his weakness, but he cannot get rid of this. Another person is very stingy, doesn't want to contribute, give anything. Although he can understand that his attitude is wrong, he cannot change it. Now that is what I told you. These mental impurities are very strong. It prevails in our mind and very deeply rooted into the mind. So, it is not so easy for us to uproot, take out these things. Then, merits are important for us, for our expenses, not to suffer. When rebirth takes place, for us to gain what we need. If we cannot gain what we need for as our requisite for our survival, then we make mistakes. Then we start bluffing, swindling, cheating, robbing, then cruelty. If we can gain what we need, if we can satisfy with our life, we can reduce a lot of bad deeds that we commit because of our merit. So merits are important for us to maintain, to carry on this way of life without committing bad things and carry on smoothly until we reach our final goal. While enjoying our life, while experiencing worldly pleasure, going on reducing, harming our senses, then we had to cultivate our mind, we had to purify the mind, we had to develop our knowledge and understanding. Without doing these three things, whatever merit we perform, we never reach the final goal. And now you can understand. Rebirth can take place in one of those places. And again, those who develop their mind through their meditation by adapting that particular mental track, rebirth can take place in Brahma realm, formless world, where they have no chance to accumulate any good karma. And again, rebirth can take place also waste state. See, you can understand when the Buddha was born, his father, King Suddhodana, invited some wise people to his palace, isn't it? Asked them to predict according to their astrology and knowledge and this and that. And one of them was a meditator who developed this dharma meditation, who can read, who can understand others' minds and everything. So this wise man, Aladevan, having seen this baby, observed very carefully. He laughed, then cried. You know the story. Then the father, the Buddha's father, asked why. At first you laughed, then you cried. I cannot understand. Then he said, I laughed because I knew that this child becomes a great religious teacher in this world. The happiness which appeared in my mind arose my happiness. Then I had to cry because I am an old man. Few more years for me to live. According to my religious way of life and meditation, after my death, rebirth takes place in one of these Brahma worlds. And there I have no chance to contact this great religious teacher. I missed the chance. That is why I cry. Then the next item is Apat Bhavo Buddhattva. The Buddhas are very rare. Not so easy to see a real Buddha. According to our way of thinking, by using our worldly mind, we create Buddhas from time to time. Those Buddhas were created by the human mind, by the followers. There are so many new Buddhas for the last 2,500 years. When you study the history of Buddhism, you can see how many Buddhas appear according to their names. But those Buddhas never appear on this earth. Again the Buddha says, Buddhas never appear in any other world cycle, in any other planet or where the living beings exist. Only among human beings. Remember this. Manussattan, Linga Sampatti, Hetu Satthara Dassanam, Pabbajja, Guna Sampatti, Adhikarocha, Chandata. The quality of a person who is going to become a Buddha. The first quality must be a human being, Manusatta. That person must be a human being. A god, a deva, a Brahma also cannot become a Buddha. So the Buddhas never appear in any other part of the world system. Again, people introduce that the Buddhas in our country is more advanced than your old Buddha. They say your Buddha is 2,500 years old. He has no teeth also. Our Buddha is a new Buddha, very powerful, very dynamic, got electronic power also. So people accept this new Buddha is more powerful. That is how they use worldly knowledge, worldly way of thinking to introduce Buddha, to create Buddha in this world, according to their worldly mind. In the Buddha's teaching, you can find within one world cycle. One world cycle means from the beginning up to the end of this particular planet, this one. All these planets and galaxies and suns and moons that appear in this universe, appears, remains, decay, disappear. It's a cycle, period for everything. It is natural. Then, within one world cycle, during certain world cycle, even single Buddha never appears. Because no one can create a Buddha. No one can produce a Buddha. No one can send a Buddha to this world. There is no such thing. We had to work by cultivating our way of life, our knowledge, our understanding, our morals, our precepts, our wisdom and purity, until we reach the final goal, gain wisdom, enlightenment. That is why the Buddhas are very rare. Now here in this verse, when you observe very carefully, you can see what is happening. How human beings behave. Are they working to become Buddhas or doing something else? Even in so-called Buddhist countries, how they behave, how they slaughter human beings, their own brothers, bloodshed all over the world. In Buddhist countries also, do they follow the Buddha's teaching? Are they working to become Buddha? Then how can we expect Buddha to appear every now and then? So, within certain world cycle, not even one Buddha. That means not ready yet. But he says, after mentioning the names of 28 previous Buddhas, he said, we are very fortunate, those who are existing within this world cycle. 4 Buddhas already appeared. From time to time, Kakusanda, Konagama, Kātyapa, Gautama, Sakyamuni. 4. Last Buddha was Sakyamuni. Then, what will happen? The teachings or the dispensation of the Buddha slowly fade away. Fade away means people neglect. People do not take seriously. Their minds become worldly minds. They are crazy for worldly pleasure, not for the spiritual development, not for the purity, not for the noble way of life. Then cunningness, crookedness, selfishness, jealousy, anger, hatred, all the evil forces started to prevail, occupy their mind. That means the teachings of the Buddha disappear from the man's mind. The teachings exist, dharma exists, no one can destroy the dharma, but people cannot understand, people misinterpret, mislead, abuse and forget. So if there is no chance for us to exist within that period when a supreme enlightened Buddha, not the Buddha created by human beings, a supreme enlightened Buddha, during that period, we get the chance to listen to this Buddha, to follow his advice, to mold our way of life, to be religious, to be noble, to find out our salvation and liberation. Why Buddha is needed? I can give one example. There are 6 extraordinary characteristics in the Buddha, where you cannot find in any other religious teacher or great teacher in this world. Only in the Buddha. So one of them is Ātayanusa Jnana. Jnana means knowledge. The knowledge that he gained through his enlightenment to understand. When he is going to preach or going to talk, for him to understand who this person is, how far he can understand what he taught, and what are the hindrances in his mind at this moment, what are the difficulties for him to understand this, how far he has cultivated his mind during his previous birth. Buddha is the only teacher who can understand. So by considering, observing all this background and the mentality, then he taught, he preached. That is why, even after listening 1 or 2 words, some people have attained sainthood, arahanthood on the spot, because of that. He preached by knowing their mentality, knowledge, understanding and background. The Buddha is important for us. But when we preach, Just we express some ideas and views, but we do not know whether you can digest, whether you can understand, whether you appreciate, whether you need. This is the problem. So, today means now more than 2,500 years. Another Buddha not yet appear, although people create Buddhas from time to time. So according to the prediction made by the Buddha before his passing away, in Mahaparinibbana Sutra, you can see, when disciples started to cry, those who have not attained Arahanta, he had to console them, advise them, don't cry. When Ananda, his disciple, asked, when you are gone, no more teacher for us, who is going to guide us? Who is going to advise us? Who is going to correct us when we are wrong? Then the Buddha said, Ananda, I cannot appoint another person as a Buddha. It is impossible. A doctor cannot appoint his son to become a doctor. A lawyer cannot appoint his son to become a lawyer unless they study. This is more than enough for you to understand. Why the Buddha did not appoint another Buddha? Impossible. He said, regard my dharma, my teaching, as your master, your teacher. Concentrate, follow. Then he says, Yava kivancha subhadda bhikkhu samma vihereyum asunyo loko arahante yat Mahaparinibbana Sutra. He says, as long as my disciples follow my teaching properly, always Arahantas exist in this world. Never become empty of Arahantas in this world. So if there are no Arahantas or saints or holy saints in this world, it is due to our own weakness, remember this. Nothing wrong with the Buddha, nothing wrong with Buddhism, because of our weaknesses. Just because we do not follow his teaching correctly, we could not attain sainthood or arahanthood. That is what the Buddha says. That means there is no time limit. No one can say, within this period people cannot become arahanthood. We cannot say, according to the Buddha. If we really follow his teaching, there is no difficulty for us to become an arahanta. So this is our human weaknesses. So we have a lot of obstructions and hindrances to get rid of our weaknesses. That is why still we are struggling here. So, although the Buddha does not exist in physical form, dispensations of the Buddha, the message given by the Buddha, and all the great qualities, knowledge, virtues, wisdom introduced by the Buddha through his enlightenment still exist, not yet disappeared. So we can regard the Buddha still exists. That is why we recite Buddham Saranam Gacchami, I take refuge in the Buddha. We regard the Buddha exists today. So this gives us confidence for us to maintain our religious way of life. So if we cannot develop this confidence that the dispensations of the Buddha still exist, then we have no chance to lead a religious life and to perform meritoriously. The last one is Saddhamma Matadaya. Saddharma. Dharma, Manushya Dharma, Deva Dharma, Buddha Dharma, Saddharma. See how many kinds of dharmas are. Here we are talking about Saddharma. What is Saddharma? What is Dharma? Dharma means natural occurrence. Anything. That is Dharma. Not belong to any religion. A religion cannot produce this. A religion cannot change this. A religion cannot stop it. This is dharma. Now we are getting old. Is there any religion which can stop this? No, that is dharma. No one can stop this. That is dharma. One day definitely we have to face our death, whether we like or not. No one can stop it. That is dharma. Everything exists that in this world. Going on changing. No one can stop this. That is dharma. Our mind is changing. Our body is changing. Atmosphere and the world and the earth and space, planets, everything going on changing. That is dharma. There is no God, there is no devil behind all these things. All these are natural occurrences. That is dharma. If I scold you, if I beat you, you also scold me or beat me. That is dharma. It is natural, not created by anybody. Then what is Saddharma here? Saddharma is related to moral causality. That means by realizing, understanding the real nature of morals and immorals. But those occurrences have nothing to do with morals or immorals. Natural occurrences. Now we have come to morals and immorals. Good and bad. Our word. Good and bad, our own word. By realizing that these things are harmful, dangerous, painful, create suffering, we try to avoid, not to do. That is Saddharma. By realizing our kindness, compassion, honesty, sincerity, cooperation, harmony are very useful for us to maintain a peaceful, happy, contented life. We follow this. That is Saddharma. By realizing this life is uncertain, this life is impermanent, everything that exists in this world is impermanent and create problems, unsatisfactoriness in the end, then we try to change our mental attitude to face these challenges. That is called understanding of Saddharma. We have worries and troubles and problems and difficulties in the society, at home, everywhere. Then we analyze. We try to understand what are the causes. Why people behave like this? And we realize this is because of their craving. Craving creates jealousy. Jealousy creates anger. Anger develops hatred. Hatred creates violence. Violence, bloodshed. We realize who is the culprit. Then we try to change our way of life by realizing this. That is Saddharma. Here the last item is, if we do not know how to appreciate, to understand, to follow Saddharma, the real Dhamma, taught by the Buddha, his teaching is called Saddharma because of this. Then there is no difficulty for us to accumulate merit, and we know the nature of merit also. We know the weaknesses of merit also. We know how to go beyond these merits. That is Saddharma. Here, these are the 8 occasions or places where we experience the difficulty of performing meritorious deeds. What are those 8 places? You try. First one is hell, animal, world, and ghost or spirit as one. Next one, formless world, Brahma world, where life exists there. We cannot do any meritorious deed. Next one, when the life exists in certain other world systems where there are no religious way of life or morals or nobles and ethics, that just exist, just like certain other animals. No chance. Next one, Pancindriyanam Vekalyam, 5 senses. If our senses are out of order, not functioning properly, we have no chance to produce or create, perform meritorious deeds. Next one, miccāditthi. Just now I mentioned 10 kind of wrong views. If we maintain such wrong beliefs, we neglect our religious or noble way of life, and after that we cannot see any difference between humans and animals. Next one, apātubhāvo buddhassa. That if there is no a supreme enlightened Buddha or the dispensations of the Buddha to influence our mind to gain confidence and devotion, inspiration to lead a religious way of life, then we have no chance to perform religious way of life for the marriage. The last one is, if there is no chance for us to learn Dharma, the real Dharma taught by the Buddha, to adjust our way of life, to get rid of our wrong concepts and beliefs and practices, to understand reality in life. Then these are the 8 places where we experience the difficulty of performing meritorious deeds.